everybody. Now I'm going to make a short video here about balance. I've had a lot of questions and some frustrations from some students about how to get that right balance in the balance poses, or maybe some frustration about not being able to hold them. So today we're going to actually work with a wall. I'm outside because it's actually a nice day outside. I put the dogs inside so they won't knock me over. But I'm going to show you a few exercises that you can do on the wall to help increase your balance so you can really feel what the balance pose feels like, and work with the wall. Balance is one of those things that definitely requires practice. I teach vinyasa classes, so they tend to be transitional and maybe not held as long as in some other classes. So this is a way to kind of get your practice in. So I'm going to show you a few things today. Hopefully it's helpful. And even if you do have a good balance practice, some of these practices are I said practice a lot. Some of these things are actually really helpful because they help you feel it in a different way. We're going to go over Warrior 3, Half Moon or Ardha Chandrasana, and then I might even show you a couple little inversion things if you want to work with that. But the wall is really one of your best tools. So let's get working with that. Pardon my giant water. My mat's probably a little bit dirty too because the dogs were out here a little bit earlier, but I had to banish them into the house. So we're going to start with, I've got 2 blocks. If you don't have the 2 blocks, books work, but you'll definitely need something that's got a little bit of height to it. The first thing we're going to do is Warrior 3. You want to measure your leg length. So I'm going to take my feet to the wall. I'm going to put the block right where my hip is, and that's going to be my leg length, and that's where I'm going to place my foot. So the foot goes down, both of the blocks go slightly forward so I can work on those with balance. I'm going to start tilting forward, placing my hands on the block, and then lifting my back leg until it is level with the ground. You might even have to move around a little bit. It's not an exact science. So here I do have a Warrior 3 balance, but here I'm feeling it actually a little bit more in my quad, a little bit more in my hamstring, and even a little bit more in my core here. But with my foot on the wall, I'm pretty much perfectly balanced. That way I'm not fighting the balance while I'm trying to feel what the pose does for me at the same time. So I'm going to switch legs so I don't walk wonky up later. So foot down, leg up to the wall. Make sure that the leg feels like it's not being pushed into the wall, but you're also not really reaching for the wall at the same time. You can even come up onto the fingertips so that you're not really dumping weight into the wrists. Core engagement here, long in the spine, long in the back of the leg. Feeling not only the standing leg work, but also the lifted leg. All right, I'm gonna come down from that, shake that out just a little bit. We're gonna do a similar thing with Half Moon pose. Give me a second. So same thing, start from the same place. Press the feet up against the wall. Measure my leg length. This one's a little different because it's a hip opener pose. So I'm gonna place the foot right where the block was. The front foot goes forward, and then I'm going to place the block right in front of me. You only need 1 block for this one. Hand goes to the hip. We're going to start to tilt forward and actually that's a little bit too short for me, so even though I did that, I'm going to have to go a little bit forward. There we go, that's better. So again, standing foot, toes are going forward. The toes that are on the wall are going to the side so that the hip is open. Now, option to stay here. Maybe you feel really good here and you start to lift the arms. But this way, you're feeling what that Half Moon pose feels like without having to rely on your balance to keep you up. So here, I'm actually feeling this a little bit more in my glute med, that side of the hip here, than I normally would if I was holding the pose without the wall. I'm gonna come down nice and slow. I'll do the other side real quick so we can see what that looks like. Toes facing forward, coming down, lifting the leg, making sure that the hip is open, lifting the arm maybe, Still feeling engagement here in the quad. Coming back down. So that felt nice, that felt stable. I felt like I was working all the muscles that I should. You can even use the wall for stuff like tree pose. So tree pose is a hip opener. It's also a balance pose. You can start with tree pose with the toes still down onto the mat. If you want to lift the leg, you can use the wall. Just a slight touch will give you enough balance where you're not wobbling all over the place, if that's really what's frustrating you. So I can even take a little bit higher, take it into my inner thigh and finding a nice hip opening here, maybe lifting the arm. So if I take my hand away from the wall, immediately you see me move just a little bit. As soon as I put my fingertips on the wall, it's like magic, I'm completely balanced. So just that little bit of support sometimes is all we need. So maybe if you're practicing at home, practice near a wall. When you get near that balancing position, take your hand out, touch the wall. Same thing with dancer pose. So that's the one where you kick the foot into the hand and then we'll tilt forward. So you can tilt forward, you can even face the wall this way. So kick the foot into the hand, start to tilt forward, and actually just bring the fingertips to the wall so you get that nice, see, even teachers have terrible balance sometimes, it happens. So taking the fingertips forward, finding our way, using the wall to help stabilize you, and really getting into that quad stretch, that back opening pose of it. Let's see. I think that's, so same thing with the half moon pose. We did it with the foot at the wall. You can do it whole body at the wall as well. So actually place your whole body onto the wall, putting the block down onto the floor, and then actually leaning against the wall, lifting up the arm, finding that balance against the wall, and maybe starting to come off of the wall just a little bit, just using it if you happen to fall back just a little, so you really feel what the pose feels like, again without depending on your balance to keep you up without falling all over the place. It is very frustrating. Just know that it takes practice, it takes a long time. Also, celebrate the little things. If you hold a pose for half a second and the day before it was only a quarter of a second, that's a little win. Celebrate that little win. If you have any interest in an inversion practice and you'd like to use the wall for support, it's a great way to do it. If you want to try headstand is usually the first one to go. So for headstand, I'm going to come onto my knees and work my way into dolphin pose, basically, with the hands down and the arms behind the head. So dolphin is with the hands down, working into that downward facing dog, but with the hands down. And then I'm going to put the head down. So I'm on the top of my head. My hands are bound behind my head. I'm going to walk my feet in towards my face and start to lift the legs. And see, I'm using my foot here to help balance me. Maybe I start to come off of the wall. But it's always there if I need to fall back onto it. Last thing, if you're working towards a handstand, I have what I call a half handstand practice. I'm not all the way there, but I can get up into the L and get one leg up. So I'll show you that if that's something you're interested in playing with. You're going to do the same thing. Measure your leg length, because ideally you want the hips stacked over the shoulders. So my legs are about that long. So that's where I'm going to place my hands. Make sure I'm firmly planted with my hands. And then I'm going to start to bring my feet in towards the wall. And maybe I lift my leg. Now, From that I can feel that I'm slightly out of alignment because I'm reaching my arms forward. So I'm actually gonna walk my hands back just a little bit and try it again. Yeah, that's better. Rocking my weight forward. Maybe lifting the leg. Maybe just using the toes as a balance here. And coming back down. That's all I got for today.